Hi everyone. First of all, I would like to emphasize two situations that will require recommendations in leap set. The first scenario is, let's say John lives in Washington and now he is looking for a restaurant in California which matches very well with his tastes and preferences. So we have to help him. The second scenario is, let's say Tom is a leap set merchant who is eager in upselling and cross-selling. But how does he know which item he should recommend for which user? So we have to help him as well. So this is the basic idea of collaborative based filtering. So what is happening in collaborative filtering is, first we identify a cluster of users who have similar kind of attitudes, and then by analyzing the big data related to that cluster and comes up with various suggestions which are helpful for a user. So in leap set we have the concept of big data with us as a very hot topic. Therefore I think this feature would be a very appropriate one to implement. Thank you.
You read a small. Yeah, so basically you're saying looking at the data analytics, do kind of trends and stuff and recommendations for users, right?
You bring the element of similar consumers into the picture. If you are a donut lover, you figure out other donut lovers and other donut lovers in other state. Where do they go? You can get information from a store. This is a store that they sell a lot of donuts.
But these are all leap set merchants.
All leap set merchants, all leap set consumers. So this is a recommendation system that gets evolved between the leap set consumers and merchants. You learn it from the others' pattern.
So currently, how are you planning to get the data, and what data do we have, and how are you going to do the recommendations? Which channels?
Yeah, for a usual recommendation system, there are two ways that we can gather data. The first way is implicit way. Yeah, the way is explicit way. Explicit way is like what is happening in a rating system. But in implicit way, we can use all the historical data of now. Already we have that data, historical data of all users that we have, but we don't have a profile system. We have to create that. After creating such profile in the data warehouse, we can very easily implement this product.
So what are the parameters that will take into account for
Yes,
determining the recommendation?
Yes, yeah, that's a very important question, because now every recommendation system should have a mathematical model, but this is the first time that we are going to implement a recommendation system in a food industry. Therefore, the mathematical model would be different from other kind of recommendation systems, but this is good.
Where is the representation? This is for the consumer or the merchant?
Yeah, both.
Where is
Now, in the previous scenario, that I said, no.
I understood your both scenarios. How are
Yes.
you going to where's the physical representation? This is a website.
Yeah, no, it's on our iOS application, Android application, as well as the web application. Yeah.
One question. There is individual now who's coming from out of state
Yeah.
into let's say a state where we have leap set. Your system is good, right? The presentation is good. But now how do you plan to get this individual who knows nothing about leap set, who's not using anything that leap set provides, into this, into using this? How do you recommend it? Because your individual is coming from another state, knows nothing about leap set, is not using anything that leap set has provided. That will be a real-time scenario. So how do you expect? How do you plan to get him to use this system? How are you plan to attract him?
This is not for new. This is not for new people.
So what is
Yes,
saying?
because
this is a
there's a one thing.
So that's a prerequisite. It has to be within the leap set.
So
Yes,
yes,
you have done some transactions with it. Basically what he's saying is you do some transactions and you create a profile of that user. That's a leap set consumer profile, and then you analyze the profile saying he likes to eat Chinese, he likes to eat Indian on Wednesdays like that, and then when he goes, he can.
The thing is, in all recommendation systems, we have that cold start problem because for a newcomer, in every recommendation system, I mean, it's hard to make recommendations for newcomers. But after that, when you are getting data as much as possible.
Agreed. No argument on that. But this is also look at the opportunity also, right? From the other hand, if you have a good recommendation system, that is a mechanism to get people attracted into the system. This is coming. So look at the opportunity.
And for the
I like
merchant,
this one.
And how do you and think of how you're going to attract somebody who's outside of the leap set into using it.
in that way, he can use that the recommendation system for merchant also. Because he can use it for upselling and cross-selling scenarios. In that case, he don't need such data. He can use merchants and also
Can you elaborate a little bit on an upselling scenario? Can you explain a little bit the scenario where there is a customer who is a frequent lead set user inside the restaurant? How will the merchant use this system to?
yes, because
What is the information that you have to recommend something to that customer? How does it?
yes, it is based on all the demographic data of the user, including gender, the locations that he is visiting, what kind of dishes he prefer, and such kind of things. And I think currently merchant can't recommend make such kind of recommendation for user. That's a problem. Even we are having all the historical data of every transaction that we made. So I think we need such a system.
Have you thought about how you're going to show that information to the merchant?
Yes.
Do I have to check in as a customer? I have to check in the restaurant? Or how will you know that?
So the merchant's involvement here is very limited, I think. This recommendation is coming.
I understand the customer part, but on the merchant side, how does the merchant know that
That I am in the restaurant.
I am in the
Basically, the question is, okay, how it would happen now when you develop this system?
Yes.
What would happen? How it would happen to business? Or what will happen? Like, a customer comes in and what's the flow? How it will flow? Like,
Yes.
that's the question.
Yeah.
So you recognize from a check-in when you come to it. You check in.
That's right.
Check-in triggers that this particular consumer has walked in. Probably a pop-up saying he's a, for instance, Masika, whiskey lover, likes good service, good keeper, things like that. You cross and upsell based on that. Oh, Fanta lover, sorry.
It's going to happen in real life because all the proceedings and these kind of things we are doing in offline, and we can store that to separate even relational databases. So in real time we can supply recommendations for them without the event.
So one challenge here would be to come up with a good recommendation.
Yes.
Model.
Yeah. Mathematical model.
First, you have to create a solid profile with key attributes, and then through that you will build the algorithm and
Yes, because previous kind of algorithm that I referred to in result papers on this scenario, and now when you are looking at the previous kind of algorithms that they have used, now today even in the R language is the one we are using in manipulating regression kind of statistical calculations in data warehousing. So therefore, now today all the calculations related to recommendation systems they are doing using statistical regression. So it's a huge news for us is we can do that without any error.
All right, any further questions? Yes, Kevin.
So this is primarily targeting in-store and online, or just in-store? For walking customers, or
Yeah, walking customers.
so there's nothing online recommendations?
There can be online as well. Like you're trying to order something,
Yeah.
like in Amazon.
Yeah.
it'll like-
Okay, and so the next one is basically, so do you see this being used more in a QSR type model, or in a restaurant sit-down type model, where you will actually make recommendations?
Both.
And so in a sit-down type mode, you will really need the recommendation done at the table, so that would need to be on a order
Yeah.
pad or something like that as well.
Because the previous scenario I told about that cross-selling and upselling
Yeah.
scenario, that's going to be happening in
Mobile app.
yeah, well as
No, I mean like at a QSR type model, will you actually do a lot of recommendations? Do you have time to do recommendations? Or the user already knows what he wants? Does he come there and he basically looks at it and thinks, what do I want? Or does he already know what he wants? So will you actually be doing any cross-selling at that time? Is what I'm asking. It's more suitable, it seems like it's more suitable for a sit-down, where the waiter walks up to you and he says, you know what, you already checked in.
yes, it's up to the customer to take the recommendations if he needs.
No, you're not giving physical recommendation.
Not
The
physical.
merchant is not going and say, I'm going to recommend this to this
Yeah.
guy. So basically, this guy has a profile,
Right.
Fanta and Chinese, and let's say he likes fried rice, right? He comes into the restaurant, he orders something else.
Right.
But the algorithm will figure out, hey, by the way, this guy has a pattern of liking Fanta and Chinese.
Right. But
fried
they don't
rice.
do any physical, I mean, they don't do any
And the
recommendations.
algorithm will promote that, saying, hey, by the way, this merchant has these things are things you like it.
But I mean, Shine, so
So,
basically,
yeah, so but
Is
it
that right?
also depends on checking in.
yeah, you're
So there is a little bit of time there. So
right.
So as he checks in,
No, so that's why I said on a QSR type mode, why would they actually check in, right?
yeah, that is a different.
Yeah.
I think this is based on the assumption that you do check in,
Right.
yeah.
and after you check in, let's say you like burgers, fries, and onion rings all the time. You order burgers and fries. Then the operator can say, hey, you want to get some onion rings with that.
Yeah, and the other thing is you don't have to check in. So you have that location-based thing that you based on live where you're within the. No, you built something, right? Which is like if you're in the region of the place recently, auto check-in or something, which is not necessarily in the restaurant, outside the restaurant. So if you're walking outside the restaurant, the POS knows that this guy is outside and this is his profile. Automatically you send a message saying, hey, there's a whiskey promotion going on right now in this restaurant.
Alright. So,
Anything else?
The only thing here is that the needs of ecosystem is not large enough yet to be very effective. We have only 500 merchants, right?
But it was not from the industry, in fact,
We have a lot of data, but to recommend restaurants and stuff, it's very small. Maybe we can recommend dishes and stuff like that.
But we can identify frequently moving items, modifiers, and technically suggest even with a small.
Sure, another merchant side, there's probably more that we can do right now.
Outside it. It's a very good idea.
And densely populated like downtown, Indian city, next cluster of restaurants. So probably.
the other thing is we need to
Start collecting.
start collecting and start the recommendation system beforehand. So after that, it's going to be enhanced.
Yeah.
Because otherwise,
That's what the Iranians doing.
All right. If there are no further questions, then let's call our next